We're blessed to have a great variety of saints. Saints from all different walks of life. Saints with all different abilities and gifts and all different challenges. There are some of the saints we could consider to be the big saints. Those who had great intellectual abilities. Those who were great theologians. Those who were great preachers and people would flock to hear their message. There are those who gave their lives as martyrs, or those who traveled around the world, across the world as missionaries. And then there were also the smaller saints, the saints who lived very simple lives. Saints who may not have been as influential, or who may not have been as intelligent as others. Saint Bernadette was one of those simple saints. Although she had quite a bit of recognition because of her visions, most of her life was lived in incredible simplicity. In addition to the beautiful stained glass windows at our South Church, we have a number of beautiful stained glass window pieces at our North Church. Many of you are familiar with these beautiful images that can be seen in the gathering space of our North Church. I invite you to take a closer look at these images. In addition to these pieces of stained glass windows, we actually have some more obscure pieces because of their obscure locations, but beautiful images nonetheless. If you go down the staircase on the southwest end of our church, which leads down to the parish hall, you can easily miss perhaps the most beautiful work of art that we have in our possession. It's a stained glass image of Our Lady of Lourdes appearing to Saint Bernadette. And here's where our discussion of Saint Bernadette begins. Saint Bernadette is one of my personal favorite saints. Sometimes they say that the saints choose us, we don't choose them, and in some ways I feel that way for Saint Bernadette. When I was in the college seminary, we did a pilgrimage to France, and our first stop on that pilgrimage was a small chapel in Nevers in France. And Nevers, this chapel in Nevers was seemingly insignificant except for one feature. It had the body of Saint Bernadette. Saint Bernadette's body was exhumed on 3 occasions, and she is one of the saints who we consider to be incorruptible. She had very little signs of decay each time she was exhumed. And seeing her body there just absolutely amazed me. Seeing her laying there, seeing her body laying there was astounding, and it just drew me into our faith in a new way. After that, we then visited Lourdes, the famous spot where Saint Bernadette had her visions of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Saint Bernadette was born in 1844, and she was born into dire poverty. At the age of 14, Saint Bernadette was playing with friends near a river when she suddenly saw a beautiful woman in a white dress nearby in a cave. And it was sort of a radiating woman, radiating light. And she had a blue sash around her waist and pale yellow roses on her feet. And she held a rosary. Over the course of her visions, St. Bernadette was told by Our Lady that she wanted a church built on that location. If you were to go to Lourdes today, you would find a beautiful church built right above the cave where Our Lady appeared to St. Bernadette. In addition, Our Lady revealed to St. Bernadette that there was a spring nearby, and if people drank from it who were in need of healing, that they would find healing from that spring. And people come from all over the world to visit Lourdes, to drink from that spring and bathe in that spring. As time went on, at the age of 22, she entered a religious order and lived a life of obscurity and humility. She suffered quite a bit from sickness, and she would often, whenever she'd have to take her medicine, which was quite wretched medicine, whenever she'd have to take that medicine, she'd say, I'm going to offer this up for the big sinner. St. Bernadette died at the age of 35 and is now remembered as one of the great saints of the Church. You see, when we look at the life of St. Bernadette, and we look at her revelations from the Blessed Mother, we are reminded of the simplicity that Our Lady loves. That we don't have to be people of great influence. We don't have to be people of great intelligence or power or whatever it might be. We simply have to be humble before the Lord to recognize the Lord's greatness and to give our lives to Him. That was how St. Bernadette lived, and that's our calling as well. Please know of my continued prayers, and may God bless all of you.